Hey, Raiders Nation. Let's talk about that Tennessee Titans game because, wow, it's been a minute since we've felt this kind of excitement after a victory. Now, I know some of you might be rolling your eyes thinking it's just the Titans, but let's get real for a second. This is the Las Vegas Raiders we're talking about, a team that has had more ups and downs than a roller coaster over the past few weeks. So, yes, it is only the Titans, but a win is a win, and after a stretch of games where we didn't have much to celebrate, this one feels like a breath of fresh air. You can feel the energy in the fan base, the kind of energy that reminds you why you root for this team in the first place. Now, let's break it down because the game itself wasn't pretty. We all know that. There were moments of sloppy execution, missed opportunities, and plays that made you want to throw your remote across the room. But here's the thing. Ugly football wins are sometimes the most satisfying ones. When your team fights through mistakes, handles adversity, and still comes out on top, that's when you know there's grit in the locker room. And if you watch that game closely, you could see that the Raiders were in control far more than the final score might suggest. It wasn't about dazzling highlight reels or explosive passing plays. It was about sticking to a game plan and executing it with discipline, and that's exactly what they did. The biggest story of the game, without a doubt, was Ashton Gentry. This was very clearly an Ashton Gentry-led offense, and it's exciting to see the team finally leaning into what has worked. Over the last few weeks, it's become obvious that Gentry is the focal point. He carried the ball, caught passes, and consistently forced the defense to respect his presence on the field. He finished the game with a season-high 25 touches, 23 carries, and 2 receptions. The way the Raiders structured their drives, especially the first scripted drives, made it clear that they were committed to running through him. It's something that fans have been hoping to see, a commitment to a power running game that establishes physicality and controls the pace. There were moments where you could question why he wasn't on the field for every possible touch, like on the first drive, which ended with just 3 points. Gentry touched the ball 6 times in that drive, but he was pulled in the red zone, which frustrated a lot of fans who were watching him dominate the line of scrimmage. Still, the script for that drive was obvious. It was designed to showcase his abilities, and even with limited touches, he gained 48 yards and set the tone for the rest of the game. The team's commitment to running the football didn't stop there. The first drive after halftime, coming out in the third quarter, was a 13-play, 70-yard touchdown drive, and Gentry touched the ball 8 times. That kind of usage tells you everything you need to know about the direction this offense is heading. The Raiders want to run the rock, establish physical dominance, and let Gentry lead the charge. Credit has to go to the offensive line, too. For the first 3 weeks of the season, it wasn't doing enough to open lanes or protect the quarterback, but in the last 3 games, they've improved drastically. Playing JPJ instead of experimenting with Alex Kappa has made a tangible difference. Gentry's yards per carry are up, he's being integrated more into the passing game, and his touchdown numbers are climbing. If you extrapolate the last 3 games over a full 17-game season, you start to see a projection that looks like the kind of production fans were hoping for at the beginning of the year. Over 1,500 rushing yards, double-digit touchdowns, and meaningful contributions as a receiver. It's the kind of balanced production that makes an offense versatile and dangerous. Meanwhile, Geno Smith assumed the role of game manager, and the game plan for him was clear from start to finish. Keep it simple, avoid turnovers, and don't try to force anything downfield. Smith attempted 23 passes, one of the lowest totals of a season, and while he made some crucial plays, including a key 4th down conversion, it was very much a conservative approach. The Raiders didn't rely on him to carry the team to victory. They relied on Ashton Gentry to establish control on the ground and to maintain the flow of the offense. Smith did what the coaches asked of him, checked down when necessary, avoided major mistakes, and managed the game to keep the team in a position to win. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't highlight reel worthy, but it was effective, and that's what mattered in this context. Looking at the tape, the strategy was apparent. The Raiders identified the Titans as a team they could control through a steady running attack and by protecting the football. They knew that if they won the turnover battle and maintained discipline, the game was theirs. Gentry was the focal point, Smith managed the risks, and the offensive line did the heavy lifting. It was old-school football in a modern NFL context. Run the rock when the battle's at the line, and let the game come to you. There's a certain beauty in that, especially for a fan base that has endured inconsistent performances for months. Even on special teams, you could see improvements that might go unnoticed in the highlights. The kick return unit was sharper, coverage was cleaner, and the team as a whole played with a level of energy and focus that had been missing in previous weeks. It's the kind of incremental progress that doesn't always make headlines, but contributes directly to wins. The Raiders showed that they can compete on all three levels: offense, defense, and special teams. That's the kind of balance that creates confidence in a locker room and makes you believe in the team's trajectory moving forward. Defensively, the Raiders were aggressive and opportunistic. They pressured the quarterback, disrupted plays, and forced the Titans to make uncomfortable decisions. That kind of defensive presence takes a lot of pressure off the offense, allowing Gentry to carry the ball without worrying about being behind in the score. Every sack, every tackle for loss, every disruption at the line of scrimmage contributed to the overarching game plan. Control the game, manage the clock, and let your strengths dictate the tempo. And here's the point that really excites me as a fan. This is a Raiders team that hasn't quit. Despite a rough start to the season, despite games where it seemed like the team might fold under pressure, they showed heart and resilience against the Titans. Every player contributed in some way, whether it was a key block, a smart play, or just giving maximum effort on every snap. That determination to fight through adversity is something that can carry a team far, especially as the schedule gets tougher and every game matters. The Raiders didn't just win. They sent a message that they can compete, that they can execute a plan, and that they're not afraid to lean into what makes them strong. This game was a reminder that even when football isn't pretty, victories build momentum, confidence, and belief. The Raiders are clearly finding their identity through Ashton Gentry, supported by smart coaching decisions and an improved defensive line. Geno Smith is performing his role as a game manager, and the defense is creating opportunities to make the offense's job easier. The pieces are starting to come together, and for fans, that's the kind of development that makes each win feel meaningful. Now, let's dig even deeper into what this win really tells us about the Las Vegas Raiders moving forward, because there's more going on here than just a single victory on the scoreboard. One of the biggest takeaways from the Tennessee Titans game is that the Raiders are finally starting to embrace their identity as a physical, run-first team. For too long this season, it felt like the offense was searching for answers, trying to balance passing and running without truly committing to either. But against the Titans, you could see a decisive shift. The coaching staff put the game squarely in Ashton Gentry's hands, and the result was a methodical, controlled performance that showcased what this team can do when it plays to its strengths. Gentry wasn't just a part of the offense. He was the engine. Every time he touched the ball, you could sense the defense bracing for impact. The yards weren't always huge, the gains weren't always explosive, but the consistency was there, and in football, consistency beats flashiness when it comes to winning games. There's something satisfying about watching a running back dominate a game like Gentry did. It's not just about the numbers. It's about setting the tone for the entire offense. When the running back is consistently gaining yardage, the quarterback has space to operate, receivers get better matchups, and the offensive line looks sharper because the defense is forced to respect the run. The Raiders executed this beautifully, with the offensive line opening lanes and Gentry finishing runs with determination. The third quarter drive after halftime is a perfect example. 13 plays, 70 yards, a touchdown, and 8 touches for Gentry. That's old school, workhorse football. That's the kind of performance that doesn't just win games, it establishes confidence in the locker room. The team now knows that when the game is on the line, they have a weapon they can rely on. Meanwhile, Geno Smith's role as a game manager became crystal clear. He wasn't asked to carry the offense. He wasn't asked to throw the team to victory on his own shoulders. His job was to stay safe, make smart reads, and avoid turnovers. And while he didn't execute perfectly, he executed well enough to allow the Raiders to stick to the game plan. He threw some passes that were conservative, he checked down when needed, and he didn't force plays into coverage. That's exactly what the coaching staff asked him to do, and it worked. The Raiders didn't need Smith to be spectacular because the game was already being controlled on the ground by Gentry and the offensive line. The key takeaway here is that a quarterback doesn't have to be elite to win football games if the rest of the team is executing its plan effectively. And that's exactly what we saw in this matchup. Defensively, the Raiders also made huge strides. There were moments when they brought pressure that disrupted the Titans' rhythm, forcing errors and making the offense uncomfortable. That's the kind of defensive performance that gives an offense confidence to control the ball without worrying about giving up big plays. It's a classic example of complementary football. The defense creates opportunities, the offense executes, and the special teams provide the field position needed to stay in control. Every unit played its part, and the balance between them is what makes this team capable of winning games that don't always go perfectly. Even the special teams, which often go unnoticed, were disciplined, efficient, and contributed to maintaining the flow of the game. Watching this game, you could also see the mental shift in the Raiders. For a team that struggled early in the season, there's a confidence that comes with a win like this. It's not just about the stats, it's about knowing you can fight through adversity, stick to your game plan, and come out on top. That confidence is going to be crucial as the schedule gets tougher. Arrowhead, for example, is never an easy place to play, but a Raiders team that believes in its identity, that trusts its star running back and supports its quarterback, can walk into any stadium knowing it has a chance to compete. This win against the Titans wasn't just a boost in the standings, it was a boost in belief, a reminder to the players and the fans that this team is capable of more than anyone might have expected just a few weeks ago. The incremental improvements in each phase of the game are also encouraging. The offensive line's consistency, the way Gentry is being used both as a rusher and a receiver, Geno Smith's measured approach, the defense's ability to create pressure, and even the special teams' efficiency all add up to a team that is trending in the right direction. It's easy to get caught up in individual stats, but the real story here is the collective performance. The Raiders aren't just winning, they're learning how to win. And that's an important distinction. There's a difference between a fluke victory and a win that comes from execution, planning, and adaptation, and this was the latter. Another aspect worth noting is how the coaching staff handled the game. Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly clearly identified the areas where the team could succeed and built the game plan around those strengths. They leaned into the run, protected the quarterback, and used Gentry as a focal point. It's a strategic approach that makes you optimistic about how this team can handle future challenges. They're learning how to control tempo, how to manage risk, and how to build a balanced attack. That's something that's going to serve them well, especially when they face tougher defenses and higher stakes. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are circulating through the NFL locker rooms, and the latest buzzes one of the league's most understated quarterbacks at the center of it. Geno Smith, the seasoned signal caller currently under contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, reportedly feels undervalued and increasingly frustrated with his situation in Sin City. Sources close to the quarterback suggest that Smith is quietly weighing his options, and word on the street is that he wants out. The Raiders, known for their flashy moves and bold statements under their current management, have always been unpredictable in their handling of players. But Smith, who's long been recognized for his calm leadership and sharp decision-making on the field, may have reached a breaking point. Insiders hint that the 33-year-old has expressed dissatisfaction not just with his contract, but with the overall direction of the team and the lack of recognition he's received for his contributions. This development has set off a flurry of speculation among fans and analysts alike. Could a trade be on the horizon before the next season kicks off? Teams in need of a steady hand at quarterback might see an opportunity here, with Smith's experience and poise making him an attractive option for clubs looking to stabilize their offense. Meanwhile, Raiders fans are reportedly divided. Some loyalists defend the front office's approach, while others worry that losing Smith could leave a leadership void. Even within the league, Whispers suggest that Smith's camp has already begun informal discussions with other franchises, testing the waters for potential destinations. While nothing is confirmed, the chatter alone has ignited a frenzy on social media and sports talk shows, with pundits debating which teams might make a move if the Raiders decide to part ways with him. For now, Geno Smith remains on the Raiders roster, but the tension is palpable. Whether this simmering dissatisfaction leads to a blockbuster trade or simply a showdown at the negotiating table, one thing is certain. The Raiders' quarterback situation has become the hottest rumor in the league, and all eyes are on Las Vegas to see what unfolds next. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.